Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're bypassing all the traditional lore and honestly the marketing hype to look exclusively at the hard, peer-reviewed science behind Shilajit. We're putting this herbo-mineral compound right under the microscope. We're going to figure out its exact chemical composition, its measurable effects on our cellular biology, and the rigorous chemical engineering it actually takes to make it safe for human consumption. So here's our scientific breakdown for today. First, the Complex Biochemical Matrix. 2, powering cellular mitochondria. 3, why we need to look beyond just fulvic acid. 4, the measured clinical biological outcomes. And finally, 5, the science of standardization. Let's jump right in. Section 1, the Complex Biochemical Matrix. All right, to really understand how this substance works, we first have to look at what it's made of at a foundational molecular level. Shilajit isn't just some simple mineral. It's an immensely complex exudate. When you look at the analytical studies, they consistently show this dense matrix. We're talking about 60 to 80% organic matter and 20 to 40% inorganic minerals by weight. It's packed with humic substances, lipids, amino acids, polyphenols, and essential trace minerals. It is what scientists call a genuine phyto-complex. Now, what's making up the dominant portion of all that organic matter? Humic substances. These are structurally complex organic macromolecules that were literally forged over centuries. Imagine the slow, crushing decomposition of plant matter under extreme mountain pressure and microbial action. That's how it's made. The most famous of these substances is fulvic acid, which is highly soluble and incredibly bioactive. Section 2, powering cellular mitochondria. Okay, so we know the raw matrix. But what's actually happening down at the microscopic level of your cells, specifically in your mitochondria, which, as we know, act as your cellular batteries. Well, to test this, researchers looked at ATP depletion during a pretty grueling scenario, a forced swimming test in mice. And the results here brilliantly illustrate a protective effect. The exercised control animals, the ones undergoing extreme physical stress without any supplementation, saw severe systemic energy depletion in their muscle tissue. But the Shilajit-treated group, they successfully retrieved that lost energy currency. The crucial point is really right here in the data. Intense exercise caused a massive 82% drop in muscle ATP in the control group. Just huge. However, Shilajit administration significantly attenuated that fall to just 65%. It literally preserved the cellular energy capacity right there within the muscle tissue, even under extreme stress. You might be wondering, why does this happen? The mechanisms are highly specific. Shilajit contains these unique compounds called Dibenzo-alpha-pyrones, or DBPs for short. These DBPs act in perfect tandem with coenzyme Q10 in the electron transport chain inside your mitochondria. Normally, during oxidative stress, Q10 degrades, but the DBPs in Shilajit swoop in and stabilize it, protecting it from oxidative degradation, and thereby augmenting your overall synthesis of ATP. It's essentially a high-end support system for your cellular batteries. Section 3, beyond just fulvic acid. Now, while fulvic acid is undoubtedly highly bioactive, it acts as this remarkable carrier that helps transport minerals directly into your cells. Attributing all of Shilajit's therapeutic effects to just this single molecule is scientifically reductionist. The biological effects we're actually measuring are total team effort. If you take a reductionist approach, you're focusing purely on extracting fulvic acid. But the scientific reality relies on a completely synergistic matrix. It's that remaining 40% of organic compounds, including those energy-protecting DBPs we just talked about, vital free amino acids like glycine, and essential trace minerals like calcium, potassium, and magnesium that truly shapes its biological potential. If you strip those away, you are basically robbing the compound of its intended biological synergy. Section 4, measured clinical biological outcomes. So we've seen the cellular chemistry and the biochemical matrix, but what happens when this entire matrix is measured in controlled human trials? Well, in a randomized placebo-controlled study involving healthy men over 60 days, researchers tracked hormonal changes to see if the traditional claims actually held up to modern testing. And they did. The study recorded a precise 10.60% positive difference in testosterone levels in the Shilajit group compared to the placebo, demonstrating a highly measurable impact on the endocrine system. But the data reveals it goes far beyond just hormones. Cognitively, it demonstrates the ability to inhibit tau protein aggregation. That's a major protective mechanism against neurodegeneration. Immunologically, it acts as an adaptogen. It suppresses pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha while simultaneously promoting anti-inflammatory ones like IL-10, creating a beautifully balanced immune response. It even supports gut barrier integrity to prevent systemic inflammation. The sheer breadth of these biological outcomes is a direct result of that complex chemical matrix we've been talking about. Section 5, the science of standardization. Now, despite all these incredible biological benefits, there is a very, very serious caveat. Because it's formed deep in the earth, raw resins frequently test positive for highly toxic heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium. Not to mention fungal toxins and potential N-nitrosamine contaminants. Taking unpurified raw Shilajit is biologically reckless. It absolutely requires aggressive, scientifically validated purification. This is exactly why modernization is absolutely critical. The process of standardizing the extract through modern chemical engineering doesn't just make it safe, it actually optimizes it. Studies show that a standardized extraction process drastically increases antioxidant markers and phenolic content while successfully and entirely eliminating those elemental poisons and heavy metals. By following strict chemical engineering steps, we're talking about starting with a controlled vertical extraction system, moving through rigorous filtration of physical impurities, distilling the compound to concentrate the bioactives, and finally, utilizing advanced analytical screening, like high-resolution mass spectrometry and Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy. Laboratories can verify the exact molecular structure. This ensures the final product delivers all of those cellular benefits we've discussed, but completely free of toxicity. Ultimately, when we look at the totality of the peer-reviewed data, it forces us to respect this material appropriately. Shilajit is not some magical cure-all, nor is it a single isolated chemical. It is a highly complex, synergistic biochemical matrix that interacts with our cellular biology in profound, highly measurable ways. Which leaves us with a fascinating question to ponder regarding how we approach natural pharmacology moving forward. If the science unequivocally proves that the entire chemical matrix, the fulvic acid, the DBPs, the amino acids, and the minerals, is required to achieve these cellular benefits, are highly isolated single-molecule supplements actually depriving us of biology's intended synergy? It's definitely something to think about the next time you look at a supplement label. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you next time.